Hi, in this tutorial we're going to continue with the nose. We're going to bring out a little more detail on the tip and work in some more resolution for the ala of the nose to help define some space for the nares and nostril. We're going to get back to that later. So now this process of extruding the tip out can go on and on forever depending on how long or how much detail you need to refine your nose. The face that you're working on probably has more detail has a longer nose, and you may need a little more resolution to accommodate it. So I'm just going to do one more extrude on the tip, and you can, if you feel it's necessary, continue to extrude one more time if you need to get the nose. But let's just go through the process again. Now this model I don't think is exactly the same one as I left off before. Since I recorded that last tutorial, I tried a bunch of different things, and I think this is similar, or it may be the same one that I had before. I finished the face actually, and I'm going back to redo my steps now. Anyway, we just want to grab these 6 faces here and extrude them, make sure I don't have anything else selected, and just go to Edit Mesh, Extrude, making sure, remember, like always, keep faces together is turned on there. Go into W mode just to move it out. And I like to delete these side faces right away. Delete. Now we just have to continue on with what we were doing before, just moving these things down and organizing the faces one at a time. So if I just grab these 2 vertices here, you see I'm grabbing these ones. I'm just going to move them down. Now I've got this funny kind of angle here, and I can see it's because this point is too far up. And I just want to sort of evenly spread these things out, but also to follow the shape of the nose as we build it. So I'm just moving these things in. Now, of course, your process will be slightly different than mine because the nose you're working on looks different than the one I'm working on. I want to make sure these things look okay in the different views. It's too far out here. Let's start pulling these in a little bit. Could even move these ones over a little bit more. Now I could maybe do one more extrude to fill in some of the gaps here, but I think for me this is probably enough resolution to capture the shape of the nose. That's pretty good. You can see I've got these lines sort of following the way I have drawn the way the nose comes up and sort of goes down. So I'm defining the planes of the nose here. Now this is another one of those areas where you may find that if you didn't make enough decisions with your illustration that you've got some choices to make now about how to best illustrate this stuff. Okay, and you see I've got a nice big space here that I can put the nose, the nostril in, the nares. It's still too high. That's pretty good. Now when I look at this, I can see that my face is in too deep, and I know when I actually went through finishing the model, I had to really push this back because I got this big. If I go into 3 mode, that's not too bad here, but you can see I've got this big divot here, which is not really, it doesn't really reflect what the face looked like. So you have to pay attention to the tissue depth markers and the placement of the nasal aperture to see how far back the nose goes and how it relates to the flesh on the cheek here. It's something you have to work out as you go along. But anyway, I'm going to do one more extrude here to pull out some geometry for the ala of the nose, just to give it a little more flesh. I'm going to pull some of these points in a little more. I think they're a little too far out because I'm going to introduce some more geometry in a second. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so it's looking alright. Like this, to me, I think is going to be problematic. I have to work out how to do these things, how to arrange this stuff. This is kind of a pretty tricky part, getting this all to work, but I'm going to be adding a little more resolution in the face later, because you can see you've got this big broad plane. I'm going to have to add an edge loop in here later on to refine that a little bit, but I want to get something that sort of works. That's kind of working. I still have this funny shape here, but I can try and work that out later. Let's concentrate on the nose for now. So I just want to extrude one more time, but not the tip this time. I'm going to do sort of the wings of the nose here, the ala. So grab this part. Actually, before I do that, this vertex looks like it's in too deep. Let's just pull it out a little bit. Anyway, the ones when I demo, I can't guarantee perfection. So recent commands, I did extrude a while ago, so just go scale it down. W, pull it out. So you can see we just pull out some resolution for the nose here. And I'm going to place these a little bit. Let's move them around. Just kind of get the shape the way I want it. So you can see every time we extrude, we're adding detail that we can manipulate to accommodate the shape of our nose. Here. So that's looking pretty good. You can see I've got the kind of flow of the nose going in here, coming up around the nasolabial fold. Got these sort of circles going in here, and I've made a nice plane in here. I'm going to grab this one point and move it over to the middle. Just sort of set the stage here. You can see that I'm kind of defining this plane where the nostril will go. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. So now we've got this little set of 4 polygons here, and let's get rid of those, and we're going to rebuild it. So go to face mode, delete, delete, or I mean select, select, select. Don't have anything else weird selected. Delete, and we're just going to build one polygon in here. So we're going to use that old append polygon tool. Edit mesh, append to polygon tool. So we'll click on this one. And it's hard to see, there's a little arrow here. Go down to this next edge. This big long edge. Edge, big long edge. Yes. Click. Return. Boom. Nice. Okay, so now this is a ginormous, I'm sorry, that's not a real word. A very large polygon with many sides. Remember, we like 4-sided polygons, so let's select this one face, and we're going to extrude it inwards. So just scale. And so here we're building sort of the plane that's on the under lip of the opening into the nose here. And so we can start shaping it the way we want now by moving this plane around. Now I know this is not a 4-sided polygon we have here, but we're never going to see it because we're going to push it up into the nose. Kind of get a shape like that. Let's look from the side. So now we can grab some of these vertices and just kind of move them into the position that we want to define the shape of the opening here. I don't know if this is good. I'm going to look at it from this view. Maybe something like that. Is this going to work? Yeah, it might work. That looks a little funny. Okay. I think that's a little too big. I'm going to do one more extrude. Let's pull this, whoa, this shape out a little bit. Okay, that's in too deep. I think that one, just a little too tight looking. Okay. All right. Okay. Face. select just this face. Whoa. And I can hit G just to extrude again. And now this time I can just pull it up. So you can see how we're defining that space and maybe scale it in a little bit. And let's do that again. G to do that extrude again. Pull it up and scale it in. Now you don't have to do too much here because you're never going to see inside here, but you can see what we're building just the inside of the nose here. There you have it. Nicely defined nostril. Go to 3 mode. That looks pretty good. There's a bit of a funny nose lip here, so I may want to go in and just loosen this up a little bit. This is kind of gets a little tricky to figure out what we're doing here. And it just takes a lot of experimentation. Look, some of those images we have of people's face. What do the noses look like from the side? How does it merge into the upper lip? Sometimes you see more of a step, sometimes less of a step. So I'm just trying to accommodate a little bit of this to make it look at least natural. I'm going to pull this in a little bit. Telephone is ringing. Okay, there we go, and we'll come back to the nose in a minute. Thanks.